Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the RawDawgers Sportscast Live. I'm Sean Watson. Is with me always is Ryan Kessler. What's up, Ryan Dawg?
What's going on?
Not much. First one. Yes, nice. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate you being in.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, want to get in here tonight where we have a few things lined up, including our NFL mock draft 1.0. So we're going to save that probably towards the end of the show. But first thing we want to get on is the overwhelming reaction to the U.S. men's hockey team winning the gold medal this past Sunday. It was at 8 a.m. I was cheering them on. Not a big hockey guy, but this turned into something I felt like the whole country could get behind. And I was up for it. 8 a.m., I was there. So we just got in there. I was checking it out. Fantastic. Ended up going to overtime. 3-on-3. I kind of like that for the overtime for sudden death. And
did the women's go into overtime too?
I don't remember if it went into overtime or not, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to look back on that. I also just want to point out the women's team also winning gold. Congratulations to them. But that's really kind of what absolutely. Don't be facetious, Ryan, because this is, we don't want to be put on blast.
Gold medal is a gold medal, right?
Yeah, damn right. So I don't know if everybody heard about this, but apparently Kash Patel, the FBI director on the Trump administration, was in the locker room post winning the gold medal for the men. The men are in there slinging back beers. Wasn't Moosehead. Wasn't Miller Lite. Wasn't Bud Light. It was Coronas. Hey, but to each their own, that's fine. But the outrage came from when Trump went ahead and made the phone call inviting the men over to the State of the Union address, first congratulating them on the gold medal, then inviting them to the White House and the State of the Union address that was this past Tuesday night. Now, I don't know how everybody feels about that. We're not here to talk about that. Well, kind of we are. But to have like something this that brings the country all together, once every 4 years.
What sport's supposed to be.
Yeah, unifies everybody. Everybody's riding high. The men just won the gold medal. First time since 1980 and, the Miracle on Ice and all that. So then Trump makes a comment on there that, we're going to have to invite the women too. As if now, I took that as, yes, we're going to also invite the women. But then, I don't know if you want to call them social justice warriors. Well, I mean, do we want to use labels? I don't know. But it got twisted on social media. And then all of a sudden you have all these people hopping in there and saying that the way Trump made it sound was he was making the women's team feel less than, although they won the gold medal, also received an invite to the White House and to the State of the Union address, which I want to point out that they declined due to their strenuous schedule, although the men were able to make it.
Of course, yeah.
What say you, Ryan?
Just another one in the long line of why does this matter? I mean, the video itself is not like they laughed after he said, I got to invite the women too. And now everyone thinks that everyone's a misogynist. And to me, it's like, I don't care, honestly. And if the women care that much, they didn't show up to the White House. They didn't show up to the State of the Union. That's their right to do so. You know what I mean?
And it is the right to do so.
But
then for them to say, and that's fine. If they couldn't make it due to their schedules, okay, they couldn't make it due to their schedules. So I happened to look up. I was going on a deep dive, going down one of these rabbit holes when this immediately happened. So there's a women's National Hockey League Okay. And almost half of those players, probably 3/4 of the players on that women's gold team, women's national team for us, play on this women's hockey league, professional hockey league in the United States. And the rest of them play on collegiate teams, mostly Wisconsin. There's an Ohio State, there's a Penn State player. Now, I just happened to look to see when the next hockey game was going to take place that would have any of these women in it. It wasn't until Friday night, 2 days ago. The State of the Union was on Tuesday night. They hopped a trip from Italy to Miami with the men in one day. Transatlantic flight to get back to the United States. And then it was another 4 days before any of them would have a hockey game.
Well, and what's it say about the women there? That, you know, whatever you think about the president, not the biggest fan either. You have an invitation to the House of the People,
right,
to show the gold medal you won for the country, but because there was a joke made, it has to be an international incident.
And was it a joke?
It wasn't even a joke,
right? And they're saying, well, now all of them are saying, well, what was the funny? I don't get the punchline. I don't get the punchline. It's depending on how you twisted what Trump said. And because he already has this notion that he is this misogynist, of course certain people are going to take it and twist it that way. That's just how I felt about it.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
I just think it was a big nothing burger.
God forbid we can celebrate as a people for anything ever.
But I just felt also that for the women to go ahead and not accept his invitation because due to their strenuous schedule,
right,
that didn't occur until Friday, 2 days ago, and they had 4 days,
right,
between the invitation and Friday, that it was a bad look on them.
Yeah,
because the NHL and most of the players that were on the men's hockey team played in the NHL, which also didn't start back up until Friday. And yet they were still able to make it. So
funny
you
how
let
that
somebody
works.
get in your head this much that you're going to turn down basically an opportunity of a lifetime,
right?
To go, and whether you feel you're being a pawn for the State of the Union, okay, that's fine. I get that. Don't go to that then. But you got to go to the White House, and then you got to enjoy Big Macs the next day. You did see that, right? That was the
It's
lunch
always
at
the
White
Big
House.
Macs. Yeah. It's always the Big Macs.
Right. I mean, Trump,
I mean, like State of the Union, who cares? But like, you can't go get your medals at the White House. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's literally once in a lifetime.
Right. And once in just a few people's lifetime.
Very few people's lifetime.
Exactly. All right.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
You tell us, guys. Tell us what you think about it. I mean, we're willing to hear you out. But you better make a good argument because I've already kind of made my mind up. But maybe you can change my mind. I don't know. All right, I want to kind of get into last night's game. Also, Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the Denver Nuggets. And SGA, first game back since February 2nd. He had a bruised abdomen. And he went off 36 points last night. Oklahoma City ended up winning the game. But Nikola Jokic, big man, 6'11", huge Serbian. This side's, do you have the video? Somebody painted the Joker's face on, nicknamed Joker. It said Joker. But man, I have never seen that look.
See the intensity there on the.
I have never seen that look on Jokic's face.
He looks
right there.
He's about to liberate some Eastern Bloc country.
Right. So Dort on Oklahoma City kind of hip checked him, more than hip checked him. I mean, he like bounced his hip out there, and Jokic hit the floor. And if you know anything about Jokic, that guy he rarely ever leaves his feet. He's a big dude, but a lot of people speculate that he's being able to avoid a lot of injury during his career so far because he generally refuses to leave his feet.
Right.
Which a lot of big men suffer, a lot of all that
Yeah.
strain stuff on the lower part of their bodies.
Oh, look what that did to Shaq after all the years of him ruining backboards and stuff.
Right. And let's be honest, Shaq probably didn't take care of himself either.
Well, that too, yeah. But
but
that's a lot
prime
of wear and
Shaq,
tear on the
prime Shaq was like no other.
most dominant big man ever.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. But yeah. So anyway, Jokic receiving double text, Lou Dort double text, and Jalen Williams with the technical. Dort got ejected. So anyway, I just had to put because I'm like, what is going? I've never seen Jokic with that.
Dude,
I wonder if Dort did he say something about his horses?
Had to have.
I mean, for that guy to get that pissed.
That's the only thing he cares about is his horses.
Is his horses, right?
And they know that. They got to use that as a dig.
Right. I've seen your horses and they suck. just going total AB high school picture on him.
Well, and we were talking about it earlier. Like his brothers are at all those games. Those dudes look like they're mafia'd up.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen Nikola Jokic's brothers, you need to go look those dudes up.
Those dudes are like 6'6", 6'7". Like they're brawlers.
Yeah. And that's
a war-torn area they are from.
Yeah. I mean, Jokic is, if you're going to pick a fight, Jokic, with him being 6'11", is the guy you'd want to pick it with instead of these two guys.
Right.
And they look like they give zero fucks.
At all.
They will rip
that is their breadwinner right there.
Anyway, spring training has begun. Any Guardian? No. Haven't been following too much of it. I know that the Guardians got off to kind of a hot start. But it looks like they're around 500 now. They had quite a few losses there in a row.
Well, and yeah, I think we're gonna touch on that once the draft combine stuff simmers down a bit, because we need to go over yet another off season of not spending any money.
Why not?
Because
it's the Dolphins.
Why would you get a absolute Hall of Famer and Jose Ramirez giving you an absolute deal to stay there for 20 years, and it's just insane.
Right. Anyway, polar bear doing shit for Baltimore. I don't know anything about it.
I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Like the Orioles? Do they have someone called
polar bear? Orioles, or are we talking about the Ravens? We talk about the Chesapeake Bay Nutcrackers, or what's that team that's down there? The AAA hockey team that's down in that area? I don't know.
That's the one Happy Gilmore tried out for?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't read your name, did I, Gilmore? I read your name, didn't I?
Better luck next year. Oh, Pete Alonso?
Ah, okay. All right.
I mean, it's spring training. Some guys start off hot, then they come into the year bat 212.
Right.
Some play like shit in spring training and turn it up in April.
It is still spring training, though. So
right.
I mean, it's a long season. I mean, 162 games plus playoff games if you make that. So, but yeah, we'll definitely be getting into some boys and summer talk here after some of this NFL stuff as well too. So
get into our Kenny Lofton standing.
Yeah, Ryan and I both huge Kenny Lofton stands. So, and say what you want about. Well, you can say what you want. You're not going to change my mind about Barry Bonds, but another guy that definitely needs to be in the Hall of Fame is Kenny Lofton. So, yeah. And we've said that. We've had whole segments about Kenny Lofton. We've actually tagged him on Twitter, just trying to get him to, try to get something moving for Kenny Lofton. So, not a great guy with the press. Don't agree with it. So, but yeah, Kenny Lofton, big guy, not being in the Hall of Fame. All right. Going on here. This past week, the NFLPA came out with NFL grade cards. And from what I understand, they have different metrics on this. These are questionnaires basically that are put out by the NFLPA. They're given to all the players on the teams. I don't know if some of it are given to the staff or not too, or if it's just strictly players. I'm not exactly sure about
Well,
that.
if it's PA, it's probably just the players.
I would think so. But basically, there's different grades on here, like home field conditions, treatment of families, the kind of turf you play on, team travel. There's like there's roughly about 20 different metrics. So the NFLPA puts these out, these questionnaires to all the players, and then they come back with these grade cards every year. And this was put out by Yahoo Sports. So this is just the treatment of families metric. So where the Cleveland Browns, just in that metric, grade at a D-.
Absolute shit show for the AFC North.
Yeah. Pittsburgh with an
Baltimore.
F. And I didn't even know that this was a grade, Ryan. F- for the Bengals and treatment of families.
Well,
Not probably a big
well,
surprise.
I'm surprised with the Raiders being the number one, but I guess I can't be because I'm sure they're just letting their family go blow their money in the casinos there by the
Right.
stadium. So
Yeah, they probably have the ability to give their families comps, maybe, special backroom dance passes for the spearmint rhino or whatnot. I don't know. But yeah, there's no real correlation here though for with these metrics and how the teams actually do on a win-loss. So I don't really understand all of that.
Or like free agent destinations, it doesn't seem like it correlates that much.
Right.
So it's just I don't know. Because you said next year they're not even going to be publishing these publicly anymore.
So the NFLPA is not going to be disclosing these to the public. They are going to be private. I don't know if that is something that was agreed upon between the NFL and NFLPA. If the NFL is like, yeah, we're within our next contract, we're going to give you till through 2025 to do this, and then we don't want this published anymore. But this kind of stuff is probably going to leak out. But once again, does it matter? I mean, I think it matters, but it doesn't correlate to wins and losses in my opinion.
No, and I think the only way it really matters, I would think, would be the actual players themselves once they have free agency, if they look at stuff like that.
Right. So
I get if you're a top tier guy, you're looking for the most money in the best situation. If you're, mid-level right guard, you might want to go somewhere that treats your family good. Who knows?
Right. So number one overall with all these metrics, and like I said, there's different ones here: treatments of family, home game field, food and dining area, nutritionist, dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, position coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, team travel, head coach. I mean, there's just a litany of different metrics that each and every team is graded on. I will say this. Overall, the Cleveland Browns did not rank last. The Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the blue bloods of the league, was ranked dead last when you combine and average out all these metrics with an F. Okay. Now, the Browns were not far behind that. The Browns were number 30.
Well, and it would be interesting to see this once all the upgrades are done in Berea, in the new stadium, and all those things. I mean, the coaching, offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, head coach, that kind of stuff's going to fluctuate year to year.
Correct. And it's not really, you do have control over those things, but you don't have, the things that you can control are things as an organization, such as food and dining area or the way your team travels.
Right.
Who you decide to pick as your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. Now, obviously, if the team isn't doing well, you may have to say, hey, we may need to look at this coordinator because shit isn't going right.
Right. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. But team ownership. So Haslam's getting a C for team ownership. Right average, middle of the road. So, but the Dolphins were ranked number 1. And we know how the Dolphins ended up this season.
Yeah.
Not great.
Well, you're down in South Beach. Life's good.
Yeah. Just
No
like
state tax.
Just like in Vegas, right?
Right.
So, all right.
Go off. Well, we talked about the Steelers earlier. Like the Steelers, the Bengals, these are teams where the ownership's money is literally just in the team. The Steelers, they were bought because the Rooneys were good at gambling on horse races.
Well, we don't know that. I mean, that's what it's saying, but
Rooney, horse racing.
Rooney, right. True.
Pittsburgh in the 30s.
Right. Maybe not, kind of the height of what's the word of it? Prohibition, right?
Right.
We got to do something. You got to spend your extra steel money somewhere. Come on out to the racetrack, the Rooney racetrack. I can hear the town criers on the corner. They look like newsies. They're shouting about the racetracks. Trade in that bottle for some losing tickets. All right. Anything else you want to bring up about this?
No.
Okay. All right. Biggest thing we want to bring up tonight is we decided to go ahead and formulate our own mock draft 1.0, which means that there probably will be some other ones of these that we are going to put out. So what we did, we tossed back and forth whether we just wanted to go ahead and do the Browns draft overall with all their picks. But for this one, we're going to take all 32 teams and we're going to draft them 1 to 32, with Las Vegas being the team with the first overall pick. So,
and when there is a trade, we did do a trade in this.
Yes, and where we think
there's a
trade, and we
what we think, and maybe had a little fun with it.
Yeah. Now we're not saying that this is 100% ironclad, but you know what? Neither's Mel Kiper, neither's Todd McShay. That's why they have their NFL mock draft to the 3.14 pi and continuing bullshit.
Right.
Okay. They just keep cranking them out because that's what these guys do.
But I think the way we landed it out, semi-realistic. Don't think all these trades are going to happen, but you never know.
Right. And it'd be interesting to go ahead. We'll have these on record so we can actually see how the NFL draft turns out and see how close we were to it. But once again, if you want to, we'll be making some shorts out of these. Share these with your friends and say, hey, look at these dipshits. This is their mock draft. Okay. So, and Ryan and I went back and forth. So we have Fernando Mendoza and everybody's saying, that's a no-brainer. You may as well not even you don't have to put the Raiders on the clock. Fernando Mendoza is going to go to Oakland, Las Vegas. I keep saying Oakland still. So to Las Vegas. Now, first one off the bat, and Ryan and I were talking about this. I said, now listen, here's the only caveat to this, and nobody's really talking about it. Is there a possibility that the Raiders go ahead and trade back with the Jets because the Jets have, 2 more picks in the first? Or did we say it was 1 more in the first and 1 at the top?
They have number 2, number 6, so the first pick in the second round.
Okay. So essentially almost 3 picks in the first round. Is it possible that could happen? And what would it cost them to not take Mendoza? Now, both of these teams, in my opinion, are in desperate need of a lot of positions. Now, we already know that the Jets started having a garage sale earlier before free agency was done. They made that trade with Sauce Gardner to the Colts. Right. So if anybody was trying to get up and get the quarterback that they wanted, it is the New York Jets. And I think that makes it very interesting with especially these top 2 teams. But
I just think with the the draft pool of quarterbacks in next year's draft, I don't see the Jets giving up all this capital at this point. Is what I think their best plan of action after their fire sale. Get some talent in here, be in the top 5 next year, and get you a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because even if you gave up all that for Mendoza, what do you got around him? You got Garrett Wilson. That's it.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. So you're thinking that it's a long term for them. But I would think, in my opinion, I would think that they were probably pretty disappointed that Dante Moore decided to go back to Oregon for another year.
For sure.
Because that really took the one quarterback or the 2 quarterbacks that were left that had potential.
Right.
The Jets thought they put themselves in a good position there.
Right.
So, but here they are. And
I think it might, to me personally, you want to be a quarterback away. And the Jets need a lot. The Raiders need a lot. But I just don't see the Raiders moving off of that for this year's draft. I don't know.
It would make the draft fun, though.
It would make it fun.
Like if it was the very first pick.
Right.
And then because that right there would send like waves through the entire draft. Because when teams are planning for this draft, it's almost like they're planning for your fantasy football draft.
Right.
Which I don't really understand that either, because you never know what, Bob's going to do or George is going to do. So, you can try to essentially plan for it, but somebody always takes a fucking pick that just throws everybody off. So whatever you want to do. All right. So Fernando Mendoza, we're agreed that he's going to go to the Raiders. And the NFL Combine was this weekend. I know we haven't really touched on that much, but Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State, we have him going to the Jets.
Didn't he run like a 4.47?
Yeah. He and Sonny Styles tied for a 4.47 linebacker sprint. On top of that, Sonny Styles, also from Ohio State, had not just the highest vertical jump for a linebacker, the highest vertical jump for any Ohio State player ever.
Damn. Wow.
In a linebacker position.
Yeah, they're athletes, absolute, because they're both like 6'4", 230, 235.
Yeah, Sonny Styles is 6'5".
Yeah.
But also Sonny Styles, he started out as a corner though. He started off, so they kind of moved him up. He put on some weight. Also, his brother Lorenzo Styles, also in this draft, or also at the combine, had the fastest 40 time out of all secondary backs.
They hit the lottery.
That's crazy. Both boys from Pickerington, Ohio, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So, yeah, we're seeing Arvell Reese. We kind of think Arvell Reese is going to go to the Jets.
And I'd say the next few here were kind of tough.
They are.
And Ruben Bain came out of the combine with the like super short arms, right?
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of things about that. It looks like he's going like this.
Right. So we kind of had some discussions there, but his production there at Miami, I think that's still going to be a good spot for him. Arizona needs a lot on defense. I think the best place to start is to get you somebody up front that can generate pressure. So that was also a spot too where we talked about maybe a trade for them going back and get some more assets. But the thing is, after the quarterback's gone, I don't see a lot of people moving up if they don't have to, unless it's a position of absolute need and they really like the guy.
Right. Or you have somebody that's like a Jerry Jones, which we will get to.
Right.
Okay. David Bailey, the edge out of Texas Tech. After Ruben Bain, most people have graded him as the next best edge. Of course, Arvell Reese being kind of like that linebacker edge type, Micah Parsons type linebacker. So if you want to say it's possibly 3 edgers are going, or one with a hybrid, they're going the next 3 picks. Then Sonny Styles going to the Giants. And I think this says something about, this is one of those instances, I believe, where the combine did help this player. I mean, I'm a Ohio State guy, so I've known about Sonny Styles for a while, and he's just continued to grow year after year. But then with him being paired with Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, and Ryan and I talked about it, and I was like, okay, Harbaugh went to the Giants. What's one thing that we all knew about Baltimore and the Baltimore and John Harbaugh, right?
Yeah, for almost 2 decades was the defense. The
defense, right? So we feel pretty confident that that's going to be at least a linebacker. That's going to be a linebacker that goes there, unless they decide to go ahead and go for a wide receiver.
I think the Washington, New York picks could switch for sure. And all honesty, I think we could take Carnell Tate at 6, but we had some fun with this one.
We did. So getting back to what we were saying, Jerry Jones, Caleb Downs, freshman starter for Nick Saban at Alabama, transfers to Ohio State. This guy is phenomenal. And he doesn't get a lot of, you don't see him on the field that much until they start showing instant replays. But every defensive coordinator for college, when we're planning for Ohio State's defense, they always want to know where Caleb Downs was.
Right. Can play in the box, can play high, play linebacker.
He can play all around that defense, and he's sneaky at it, and he's sneaky smart. I watched an interview with him too. Highly smart, highly articulate. It was actually with Rich Eisen. Looks really,
could easily be the best player out of this draft. Have the best career out of this draft.
Yep. And a lot of people have already graded him possibly the best player in the draft. Mendoza isn't the number rated out of the draft. He's just the quarterback that's there. So we have the Cowboys, the Browns trading down, the Cowboys trading up, in which case we get what? He's 11?
We got 12 and 20 out of that trade.
12 and 20, sorry.
There'll be a movement later.
That's right.
So I think that costs the first round, the number 6 pick, a second rounder, and I think maybe a 4th.
Okay.
But you get an extra first rounder here.
Okay. So
one of them might have been a 5th. I can't remember. I said one of them it was either a 4th or a 5th rounder.
Yeah, it was a 4th, I think, right? When we ran it through the mock.
I think so.
Okay. So Carnell Tate, though, and I know we're really high on him, would we feel go to Washington?
Yeah, I don't think they could pass him up at that spot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. This may come to a surprise to a lot of people. We don't have Jeremiah Love going to Kansas City or falling into the lap of Kansas City. We have them going to the Saints.
Aging Alvin Kamara.
Mm-hmm.
They have Chris Olave down there. Maybe this is a spot where Jordan Tyson goes, but I think, these things don't always go the way you think they're going to go. I think that would be a good spot for Jeremiah Love, and that would help out your young quarterback.
Yeah. So Tyler Shuck, he really came on towards the end of last season. The Saints were kind of under the radar, but he was looking really good towards, the latter part of the season. And it wasn't just when people were just playing scrubs either.
Right.
So he may be the quarterback to kind of keep an eye on this coming season and see what they can do in that NFC South division. But with Jeremiah Love, and let's see if that happens. With that being said, Jeremiah Love not falling down to Kansas City, we feel like Kansas City is going to take Kenyon Sadiq. Huge tight end. If you haven't looked at this guy, he's an absolute monster at tight end as far as length goes. Big target, super fast, fastest time in the 40 at the combine, out of Oregon.
Yep.
Possibly, and we talked about this, you and I, possibly taking the place of Travis Kelce, or the aging Travis Kelce, to help out and start getting that offense at Kansas City a little bit younger.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a good spot, even with because Kelsey is coming back, right?
Yeah, I haven't heard for sure if he is or not.
Okay. Even if he does come back, that gives you another spot there. And obviously, since Kelsey's been there with Mahomes and even with Smith, he's been very productive. Andy Reid likes using the tight end. I think this is a good spot for them to get another one that'll be great, good to great for another 8, 10, 12 years.
Right. Agreed. And then we have the Bengals, Mansour Delane from a cornerback at LSU. Basically, any defensive guy. We basically put the best available defensive guy that was left on the board going to the Bengals here because if
Yeah,
they,
and
they
at
need
that
help,
point,
it's
yeah, I think at that point it was a little more of a reach for like a Keldrick Falk or an edge rusher, which is something they probably need more.
right.
But they need secondary help. They need a lot on that defense. So I think you get your best available defender there.
Yeah, and we don't know what's going to happen. Speaking of edge, we don't know what's going to happen with Trey Henderson. We know that he is a free agent again. So, but we don't know what's going to happen there.
Right.
So moving on, number 11. So Jordan Tyson. If I'm not getting Carnell Tate, I'm getting the kid out of Arizona State in Jordan Tyson. Big wide receiver. Looking good.
With the ball in his hands. Yeah.
Yes. Looks
and
good.
Had a let's just say much better interview than the next wide receiver that comes out of this draft.
Which you have the footage of that, right? Did you keep that?
Yeah, I can get it. Yeah.
We got to show that. All right. So this was actually the Browns were going to be at 12, but we did another trade where the Browns move up to go ahead and get Jordan Tyson because we felt like we felt like maybe the Dolphins would go ahead and draft Jordan Tyson because Tyreek Hill's gone now. So we went ahead and made that trade. It only cost the Browns in the mock a 4th round pick. So
yep, you flip that 11 with Miami in a 4th rounder.
Right. So then that gives Miami Ione, offensive guard out of Penn State. So, which they also need help on that line as well. Another guy that's been kind of talked up with the Browns too, Spencer Fano out of Utah, offensive tackle. Any chance here that the Browns would go ahead and now I'm not saying it isn't, but if the Browns don't trade back and if they take if they go ahead and take Carnell Tate at 6, that Fano would be there at 24. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't
maybe a Caden Proctor.
Maybe. So we're saying that we're keeping that in mind. Baltimore cornerback. We know they like the cornerbacks there. So Jermon McCoy going there. Are you able to blow this up a little bit? Sorry, I kind of have a head cold too, so making it a little harder for me to see it.
There we go.
Thank you. Number 15, Tampa Bay taking an edge out of Auburn. Keldrick Falk. This guy is an animal too, and I hate to see him fall to Tampa. Didn't hear a lot about this guy because Auburn was Auburn in the SEC this year, but that guy is fantastic. Another Browns hopeful also. The Jets at 16 taking an offensive lineman in Francis Magawai. So he's another highly graded. And a lot of people have Spencer Fano or Magawai going flip-flopping there. So
yeah, either or.
17 Lions, Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah, also with Fano there. And I kind of thought that this might be interesting too if the Browns were able to get both of those guys because they've always played together. If, just for the kind
opposite sides though.
Yeah, but still. They still have, a little bit of that familiarity. So Avion Terrell going to Minnesota. cornerback out of Clemson. And then this guy, Caden Proctor, offensive tackle, Alabama, going to Carolina. Right before we were going to pick.
He's only about two times the size of their quarterback, but
right. That guy's an absolute monster, though, too.
Right, like 6'7", 360.
Yeah, he's crazy. So he's like a DeJuan Jones, but at a true left tackle position.
Yeah.
And then the Browns, due to the trade, would pick up Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle out of Georgia.
This guy's gaining all of the momentum, so
yes, he is.
He may be the first tackle off the board with the momentum he's getting out of the combine and just the buzz. But this way we felt this one out. I would love to see us be able to pick him up, especially if he's there at 24. If they don't end up doing any trading here, I would not be against them picking him up out of Georgia. 6'6", 315. Dude has like 8-foot long wingspan. Dude's a monster.
Right.
And then Mekhi Lemon at 21. You know, I was interested in him, but
after we looked at his little bit of a press conference at the combine this weekend,
not sure this will mesh with Cleveland.
Go ahead and play this clip.
NFL player you model your game after or look up to?
I probably say Amon-Ra St. Brown, you know, type of grit he plays with, you know, type of way he can have a positive impact, you know, on the team without the ball in his hands.
What's just one NFL player you model?
Kind of looks like a nutcase. So there's that.
I showed that to Ryan, and within 2 seconds, he's like, yeah, I don't want that guy. I said, yeah, that's exactly how I felt. Like I said, I'm like, yeah, we don't want him.
And that'll be AB number 2 there for Pittsburgh.
The guy already gets drafted with CTE. Good for him. Good for Pittsburgh.
Now, we did talk about this possibly being a spot for Ty Simpson.
Yes.
But this is kind of hinging on maybe, you know, the A-Rod stuff. If he's not coming back, there's going to be more quarterbacks in next year's draft. You know, how much does Pittsburgh love him?
Right.
And do they want to do that late first round swipe again like they did with Tiny Hands Pickett? So
right.
But no, I mean, to me, it would make sense that they need some help on the other side of DK there, which DK is not getting any younger. So
right. So Caleb, by the way, Ty Simpson, 100% agree with you there that could be a spot where Ty Simpson gets talked up and the Steelers do take him. In my opinion, Ty Simpson shouldn't have come out for this draft, but then from a business point of view, all the power in the world to Ty Simpson, because next year's draft is going to be a lot more quarterback-rich draft. So if you're going to try to make it up into the first round, this would be the one to do it.
Yeah, he's going to be a 3rd or 4th rounder next year. This year he's going to be first, second round. I would assume.
I would think so. Right. Defensive tackle out of Florida, Caleb Banks, Jim Harbaugh. We're thinking is going to, try to stay
massive.
Yeah, try to stay on that defense. Really surprised me though, and I was thinking about this too, with the amount of injuries and stuff that they've had on that offensive line, that their need map didn't say anything about offensive line. Now, obviously, those players are going to get healthy in the offseason.
Can't play on your fears.
That's true. I mean, all right, good point. Good point.
But yeah, that could be a spot. It kind of depends, like where these tackles and guards go is really kind of a crapshoot.
Right. Number 23, we got Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon, going to the Eagles. Eagles staying with some strong secondary play there, trying to help out Jalen Hurts, trying to make his job easier because we know that he has about a 6-play playbook. So the better it is for Jalen Hurts not to have the ball in his hands, it's probably better. So if you can get more done on the defensive side of the ball, it's better for Howie Roseman and the Eagles there. And then
they do a good job drafting.
They do. They do. I mean, I can't say anything about that. So number 24. And because of the trades that we had here, we have the Browns and Denzel Boston from Washington. So the Browns.
Son of David Boston.
Huh?
Son of David Boston.
Son of David. Oh, very good. That's right. That's right. So this is definitely interesting because of the trades that we made in here in our hypothetical draft. We're able to pick up not one, but two wide receivers and an offensive lineman. So
A left tackle that I think could be your left tackle for 10 to 15 years.
right.
And Denzel Boston, 6'4",
Big guy.
215. I mean, big physical.
Yeah.
That's your red zone threat. I think this to me is a dream scenario with Jordan Tyson. Jordan Tyson's really great playmaker, runs clean routes. You'd have those two options, and you can stick Jerry Jeudy wherever you want.
Does Jerry Jeudy automatically go to the 3 if this draft were to play out?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah,
because you're gonna keep Denzel on the outside, and you could do a lot. You can do a lot in the slot with Tyson there. I think
right.
a lot of stuff Monken likes to do with the motions and the RPOs. I think this would be very nice.
Very nice. Peter Woods, defensive tackle out of Clemson, going to the Bears. The Bears actually with a pretty strong secondary. We saw it in the playoffs too. The Bears really, I think they want to get like an edge guy, but just because there's not that guy available here, although Akeem Messidor, we have him going the next pick to the Bills. I think it's possible the Bears could pick him up too, instead of the defensive tackle out of Clemson.
Well, they had some trouble stopping those gash runs in the middle. I think that kind of showed up in the playoff games.
Okay.
Because they were able to create turnovers. So I don't know. I mean, they easily could. You can never have enough good edge presence, but if you solidify that middle of that defense, I think I think we talked about. I think the Bears are going to be right back there next year.
Right.
That NFC North is going to be a gauntlet.
And I think Akeem Messidor, I don't think that he gets the credit that he deserves because of Reuben Bain on the other side. So, but that guy is awesome. And you
don't have to worry about the short arms.
This is true. And we could be very, very off here as far as Messidor going at 26. He could go further higher up in the draft. I think it's a real possibility.
Sure.
Number 27, San Francisco, we have Casey Concepcion, wide receiver out of Texas A&M. A lot of skill guys down there in Texas A&M. You know what they didn't have, though? They didn't have a good quarterback. So they had a lot of skill position guys, but the NIL money was not able to help out getting them the quarterback to get the ball to a lot of these skill guys. And that was kind of
and
downfall.
With Concepcion, though, like great athlete, there's a lot of upside there, but kind of brick hands, a lot of drops in college.
That's true too.
That's one thing that we talked about. We want to kind of stay away from.
Sure.
We've had to deal with our wide receiving core for the last 2 decades. So
we don't need more than that. We don't need more than that.
That's one thing I really hope doesn't happen at 24.
Okay. The next one here, and I was talking to Ryan before we did this. Caden McDonald, defensive tackle out of Ohio State, him going at 28. Quite honestly, that might be the steal of the first round. That's just my opinion. Because
he could easily go 25.
I'm sorry.
I said he could easily go 25 to the Bears.
Yeah, that's a real possibility. I mean, but that guy was just absolutely destructive in the center, but because of that star-studded defense, you didn't get to see the highlights with him nearly as much between the Downs and the Sonny Styles and the Arvell Reese and,
right.
Igbinosun, Lorenzo Styles. I mean, that guy there he really clogged up that middle for Ohio State.
Right.
And then we have, like we talked about, this guy might go to the Steelers at 21, but Ty Simpson, quarterback out of Alabama.
Best case scenario for Ty Simpson.
Right.
You get to sit,
go ahead.
I was gonna say you get to sit behind Matt Stafford for a year or two in that offense, learn from
Sean
probably
McVay.
the best offensive mind in the league. Keep that train rolling once Stafford decides to hang it up, or I think Stafford still has a couple years left in him, but
Right.
For Ty Simpson, I think that's the best place you could land. That'd be a good Jordan Love type situation.
Sure. Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver at Indiana. This is the guy that made that heralded catch in the back of the end zone against Penn State from Mendoza that basically kind of sealed the game for Indiana. Because, I mean, up to that point, there's a good possibility Indiana was not going to leave Happy Valley with a win there.
Right.
And Penn State was down. I mean, they were down. This is after the James Franklin, firing and everything, and they were just down. Drew Aller was out. So, number 31, C.J. Allen, linebacker out of Georgia, going to the Pats. And to round it off, we have the Seahawks, Super Bowl champion Seahawks, taking Brandon. Now, is this Cease or Sissy or where? I'm not sure. Not to offend any South Carolina Gamecock fans, but
I think it's Cease. Sissy.
Okay,
Sissy maybe.
Sissy. We're going to call him Brandon Sissy until he proves us otherwise. Which, being on that Seattle defense and what they have going on, he probably will. He'll make us eat our words. So,
but I will say this with the pick 30 with Denver, Omar Cooper Jr. He's kind of, I think, still hanging around projected in the second or third round. But I really like both the skill guys from the outside coming out of Indiana. And I definitely think he might be one of those that sneaks into the first round. I talked Sean into this. I think that would pair really well with what they got going on out in Denver.
Yeah.
Their defense is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Give old man QB down there some more weapons to work with. Denver's going to be right back.
Yeah. And the same could be said about, Houston drafting the Caden McDonald at 28. I mean, that defense is already so good, they may go on the offensive side of the ball at that pick. And if that's the case, then, maybe they go after Cooper. Maybe Concepcion falls and goes to Houston.
Yeah, because, I mean, their wide receiver core just doesn't seem like they can stay healthy at the end of the year.
Right.
So,
I mean, Nico Collins.
We never have enough weapons.
Yeah, Nico always seems like he's banged up. And, yeah, I agree. So, anyway, that is our mock draft 1.0. Tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong. I mean, I'm sure in a lot of your eyes we're wrong, but.
Yeah, we'll post this up and put some links on where you can do your own mock drafts.
That would be
Throw
great.
them up in the comment section.
Please.
This might be something too.
What is that?
Again?
Also, just for anybody that's listening, Ryan, what's the free website we did the mock draft on?
It is profootballnetwork.com.
Profootballnetwork.com. So if you want to do any free mock drafts of your own and you don't want to have to pay for them, head over there and go ahead, build your own mock draft and sling it in the comments. Love to see him sling it in the Discord.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If anybody wants to join our Discord, in the description, there is our invite link. You can go in there and send those in there into the community. And we can start getting some on there. The ones we like the most, we might throw them up on the page.
Sure.
And give you a shout out. We'll be building more of these, and we'll probably do a full 7-round mock draft coming up. Do a little bit more research into that, and get a few of these out before the draft. When is the draft? It's
the draft. I think it's scheduled not
is it the 12th?
23rd of April.
23rd? Is it 23rd?
I think. I have to look that up. But
so that'll be fun, and we'll definitely live stream the draft, at least the first.
It would be really fun to really go fuck up some Pittsburgh Steelers fans during the draft. Speaking of a little pilgrimage to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That would be a good time.
Go out to Pittsburgh and get beat up.
We would have some great content. I just thought of that. I'm like, well, that's where the draft's going to be.
That would be fun.
That
It's
would
only a
be
3-hour drive, 3.5-hour drive.
that would be a good time though. I don't know. We might have to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to bring up?
Nope. Thanks everyone for chilling with us here on the beginning of World War III. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for getting into the chat there. And we'll see you next time.
All right.